everyone, this is Toad Knight, and today I'll be going over the story of DreadOut 1, DreadOut Keepers of the Dark, and DreadOut 2. The first game was released in 2014, followed by Keepers of the Dark and the direct sequel, DreadOut 2, in 2020. These games are renowned for their spooky atmosphere, strong psychological horror, and unique use of Indonesian folklore and mythological spirits. The main character is Linda, an average high school student attending a school in Indonesia. It's a fresh take on the horror genre, especially if you're more familiar with Western or Japanese style horror. Now, let's get into the full story. Linda awakens in a strange abandoned hut. Her phone vibrates on the floor. When she picks it up, it's a call from her friend Ira, who warns that everyone is dying, waiting for her to get there. But then, a ghostly face flashes on the screen turns white, and the camera app activates by itself. In it, Linda sees a ghostly woman. She jumps backwards in fear, but the ghost vanishes. Linda steps outside and sees her friend Ira in the distance. When she tries to approach, a painful jolt hits her head, and Ira walks away. Linda begins to explore the seemingly abandoned town, occasionally spotting Ira, but never able to catch her. Eventually, she corners Ira at the end of the hallway. Ira beckons Linda to follow, leading her upstairs to an empty room. When Linda looks at Ira through her camera, she's revealed to be a ghost and attacks Linda, transporting her to a blue-lit spiritual realm. Linda walks toward the glowing blue light and wakes up back in the room she was attacked in. Downstairs, she finds Ira crying beneath the stairs. Ira insists she can't leave. Only Linda can. She gives Linda a key and tells her to go, then laughs maniacally. Linda uses the key to escape the house. Outside, she finds a field filled with open graves. In the distance, a giant woman is hanging from a tree. Below her are 3 blue candles. Only one is lit. Linda returns to the house, where she is attacked by 2 monsters in body bags wielding sickles. After defeating them with her camera, she returns to the candles. Now 2 are lit. She takes a photo of all 3, and the hanged woman suddenly falls from the tree. Her eyes open. The screen fades to black. Linda awakens again in a car on a road trip with all her friends. Miss Siska, the school teacher, is driving. She's unsure if they're going the right way. Eventually, the car stops at the broken bridge. Donnie, one of Linda's classmates, spots an opening in the fence, and the group follows him down a dried-up riverbed in the abandoned town. The students with Linda are Donnie, Yan, Ira, and Shelly. They explore until they come across an old school. Linda and Ira sit on a bench reminiscing about old school stories while the others explore. Time passes, night falls. They realize that others have been inside for too long and decide to go after them. As Linda heads towards the school, the other students begin exiting, surprised to realize that night has already fallen. Miss Siska tells everyone to gather up so they can leave, but they notice that Yan is missing. They all decide to go back into the school to find him. Suddenly, Ira begins walking strangely. She moves into the center of the room, opens her eyes, which are now glowing white, and all the doors and windows slam shut. When Linda turns around, everyone has vanished. The school is now locked, and she's completely alone. As she explores the dark hallways, Linda's phone rings. It's Ira, calling her name. The screen flashes white, and the camera app opens again. She hears a pig snorting at the end of the hall. Linda follows the sound and discovers a massive hog sleeping on its side with keys around its neck. She tries to grab them, but the hog wakes up and runs off. But this isn't just some random pig. In Indonesian folklore, pigs often symbolize greed, filth, and spiritual corruption. This spirit is most likely a cursed soul, a glutton or butcher in life, now transformed into a lowly guardian of the dead. In some urban legends, creatures like this are called jinbabi, pig demons, associated with dark rituals and misfortune. While exploring the school, she finds 2 flyers, one for a Jenglok exhibition, and the other for the Malam Satu Suro music festival. She heads upstairs, where she hears the moans of another spirit. Using her camera, she sees a ghostly woman in white with a deep gash down her back. Linda defeats her by taking a photo of the wound on her back. Later, Linda captures an eerie photo of a classroom filled with schoolgirls hanging from the ceiling. In the image, one desk has a key inside of it. She searches the real classroom and finds the desk and retrieves the key. On the 2nd floor, she uses the key to unlock a closet, revealing a hidden room filled with wigs and a cradle behind a curtain. Inside the cradle is a baby ghost with 2 dark circles around its eyes. Suddenly, Linda feels a pair of scissors at her neck. A ghost appears, brandishing a pair of large scissors. After a difficult battle, Linda defeats her and retrieves these scissors. This is no ordinary spirit. In Indonesian folklore, spirits like her are often tied to themes of jealousy, material grief, and vanity. While her exact origin isn't named in-game, her behavior and environment suggest she's based on legends of women who died during childbirth or committed acts of revenge in life. Linda then heads downstairs. She finds the boar again, sleeping. Using the scissors, she cuts the key from its neck. But before she can use them, she's attacked by a swarm of locusts and finds herself trapped in a never-ending hallway. She turns around and a massive ghostly woman barrels towards her. At the last second, Linda snaps a photo, defeating the spirit. Though Linda collapses, she revives and finds her way out of the endless corridor using her camera. Back in the school's main lobby, she tries to use the keys, but is thrown back in by the Red Lady, who now begins chasing her. Linda is teleported between rooms, each filled with swarms of locusts and rats. Eventually, the Red Lady corners Linda at the entrance, removes her own jaw, and throws a rat at her, teleporting her one more time. This time, the Red Lady simply stands eerily at the door. Linda takes a photo, and the Red Lady vanishes. Linda opens the front door of the school and exits, only to find herself not at the entrance, but in what looks like the rear of the building. Linda finds herself in a small lot. As she enters, she hears snickering. She spots a grotesque baby-like ghost dart past, and suddenly, she's swarmed by dozens of ugly baby spirits. They overpower her, steal her bag and phone, and escape through a metal gate. Determined, Linda gives chase. During her search, she finds one of the male classmates, Donnie. But when she tries to talk to him, he slaps her away. Shocked, she flees. She eventually locks herself in a building using an umbrella. Luckily, there's another umbrella that she brandishes as a makeshift weapon. Linda continues through the suburban area with nothing but the umbrella in her hand. Her friend appears again and attacks. She whacks him and escapes into a house, but the floor collapses beneath her. From here, Linda is relentlessly chased. She sprints down railroad tracks and finds refuge in a train cart, but her friend Donnie catches up and tries to strangle her. As he's trying to strangle her, Linda kicks him away. Suddenly, a ghost emerges from his body, and the ghost begins choking Linda. Linda backs up and pushes the ghost off her, and then the ghost turns her attention to Donnie, lifting him like a puppet. Linda narrowly escapes by crawling through a gap in the train car, and as she's getting away, she turns around and sees the ghost violently snap Donnie's neck right in front of her. Traumatized, she crawls to the back of the train car and passes out. When she awakens, a corpse beside her grabs her arm. It startles her, and when she takes a better look at the corpse, she finds a new SLR camera nearby. She hears strange flashes coming from the back of the train. There, she sees the baby ghosts again. Using the camera's zoom function, she snaps a photo, scaring them off. When going to grab her phone, a massive, lumbering baby enters the car. Linda takes photo after photo until eventually she banishes this creature. At the rear of the train, she finds her stolen bag and phone. She exits into a cave, wanders through, and emerges into a serene pond surrounded by elegant, ghostly women. Exploring the area, she finds statues and hears music. A woman in yellow dances, flanked by two magicians. Above them floats a massive, godly-like woman. The giant woman above isn't just a visual centerpiece. She's a looming reminder of what's watching Linda from above, possibly representing Dewi Sri, the rice goddess often linked to fertility and death. After exploring and snapping photos of blue candles, the area turns to darkness. Linda returns to the central area to find 3 blue candles lit. She takes a picture, and a boulder vanishes, revealing a familiar path. At the end of this path, she sees the towering lady. As Linda approaches, the woman rips off her own face, transforming it into a grotesque body bag ghost with one eye and one hand. After a tense battle, Linda banishes the entity. Just as she recovers, the Red Lady descends from the sky. Linda attempts to use her camera, but it's useless. The Red Lady strikes, killing Linda. Once again, Linda walks towards the glowing blue light in this realm between life or death. Linda wakes up in a forested area, far from where she was before. The environment is foggy and eerie, with crumbling structures nearby. She eventually stumbles upon a set of buildings. Inside one, she finds Shelley, her friend, hiding in a corner. Terrified, Shelley panics, bombarding Linda with questions about the other students. Before they can gather their thoughts, a noise cuts through the room. A hand creeps around the edge of the curtain that they are hiding behind. It's Miss Siska, bleeding heavily. She collapses onto the bed, and she begs Linda to go save Ira. Linda leaves in search of Ira and eventually finds her sitting in a house, calmly holding a doll. Ira's face is ghostly white. Her eyes blink. When Linda approaches, Ira introduces her doll, Susie. Susie speaks to Linda through Ira's voice. Linda asks where they are, and Susie replies, "Somewhere you're not meant to be." Linda asks Ira if she killed their friends, and Ira says, "We never kill the living." Linda brings up Donnie's death, which Ira cryptically replies, "That was my other sister," and mutters, "He was already dead." Then Ira's face warps into a terrifyingly ghostly visage. Ira explains that they're trapped in the ghost realm, and because Linda isn't dead, she doesn't belong. Ira coughs up a key, the key to a mansion, and gives it to Linda before being overtaken by a ghost. Linda begs the ghost to let Ira go, but it attacks her. Linda wakes up alone with the key. She returns to the house where Shelly and Siska were hiding, only to find Shelly hanging lifelessly from the rafters. Heartbroken, Linda takes a second and catches her breath, then continues to the mansion. Inside, Linda is attacked by an invisible ghost. She can't see it until she uses her camera to look into a nearby mirror. The ghost hovers behind her. Using the mirrors, she stuns it and makes her way deeper into the mansion. In the grand wedding hall, an unseen ghost starts violently flinging tables around. Linda fends off the ghosts by snapping pictures of the wedding hall. After the ghost has been fended off and retreats, Linda heads upstairs, where she finds 3 giant mirrors and 3 chairs. Walking into one mirror transports her to the mirrored version of the world, where she encounters the spirits of the wedding couple. After escaping that world, Linda finds a massive mirror in a room where the final ghost has been tormenting her. Using the mirror's reflection, she's able to banish the ghost. Behind the shattered glass, she finds a hidden staircase. At the top is an ornate room filled with portraits of women in red. Linda sits before a vanity. In the mirror, the Red Lady stands beside her. Though no one is physically there, her reflection reaches out and pulls Linda in. Linda wakes in the school lobby, which morphs into a blood-soaked, snake-filled version of itself. The woman in red descends. This time, she's pale with white hair. This transformation may symbolize that her role as Keeper of the Dark is ending and passing on to Linda. Linda can't hurt her with her photos. She has to think of another way to defeat her. Above the exit, she notices a large spirit. She takes photos of that large spirit and eventually defeats it. After she defeats this large spirit blocking her path to the exit, it explodes in waves of maggots. The Red Lady is vulnerable now, but she is not going down without a fight. The Red Lady chases Linda through an invisible, hidden area that's only visible in Linda's camera. In this room, there's the remains of a massive snake, and Linda carefully follows it while also avoiding the Red Lady. Once she gets to the end of the snake, the Red Lady catches up to her, again sending Linda into the realm of the blue light. But this time, the Red Lady follows. In the realm, a massive eye appears with teeth for eyelashes, and it looms behind her. Linda unlocks a newfound power and binds the Red Lady with chains. But the Red Lady breaks out of those chains and steps forward and offers Linda power. The Red Lady says, "A new day has dawned. The tree that once shaded has come to an end, and the new sapling must grow on a harsher plane. Fear not, the part you shall play in our epic is only written for those with greatness. The sacrifice of your wisdom is only freedom." Linda wakes again in the school lobby. Siska appears, holding a baby. She whispers something into Linda's ear and walks away. Linda sees that the baby is part serpent. Linda vomits maggots on the floor, reminiscent of her last battle. The camera then pans to Linda vomiting maggots all over the floor, and the music starts to play, and the title DreadOut encapsulates the screen. This was the end of DreadOut 1. In the post-credits scene, Linda listens to a voicemail from Ira. Ira's voice is calm, hauntingly calm. She explains that the Lady in Red was never trying to destroy Linda. She was protecting her, because the spirit world is not just a place of torment, it's a place of sadness, of longing, and now someone must guard it. The ending boss battle of the game with the Lady in Red was there to symbolize that the Lady in Red was passing on her powers to Linda, and giving Linda the title of the Keeper of the Darkness. The camera then zooms in on Linda, and her eyes turn red, and the game ends. The next game in the series is Keepers of the Dark. This is more of a shorter game. I'll go over it very briefly, but not a whole lot happens here other than battling different entities in the spirit realm. DreadOut Keepers of the Dark is a standalone expansion that takes place between DreadOut 1 and DreadOut 2. It dives deeper into Linda's spiritual connection by thrusting her into the mirror realm. It's a mysterious space that acts as a crossroad between the human world and the spirit realm. At the center of this realm is the mirror room, where 8 mirrors serve as portals. Each one leads to a unique domain ruled by a powerful guardian spirit. These areas are rich with horror elements, puzzles, and atmosphere, and can be completed in any order. Each guardian Linda defeats weakens the hold to the spirit world, and more specifically, the Red Lady has on her. Some guardians are based on specific emotional or moral vices like gluttony, rage, and envy. Others draw directly from Indonesian folklore or tragedies, spirits of people who died unjustly or just consumed by their trauma. As Linda progresses, she uncovers diary pages and echoes of the past that reveal more about these spirits and the larger spiritual war waged by the Red Lady. And then eventually Linda overcomes all 8 mirror guardians and is faced with the mirror room's final mystery, which is a pale white Lamia woman. After banishing the final mirror guardian, Linda finds herself no longer hunted, no longer trapped in looping horror. Instead, she stands in a quiet space, still and surreal. Across from her is a woman standing in silence, cloaked entirely in white. Behind her is a massive picture of the woman in red. In a world full of rage and chaos, her calm is unnerving. She's not there to attack, she's just there to witness, to see what Linda has become. In Indonesian spirit lore, women in white often represents the bridge between life and death, purity and sorrow, fate and free will. This one feels different, almost like a reflection, a version of Linda from a future she hasn't reached yet. She's not an ending, she's a beginning. A silent herald of what Linda is slowly becoming. Not a victim, not a survivor, but a keeper of darkness. By the time Linda returns from the mirror realm, she isn't the same girl who stumbled into the spirit world by accident. DreadOut Keepers of Darkness isn't just a side story, it's her initiation. Each mirror she enters, each guardian she defeats, they're not just battles, they're spiritual rites, testing her fears, her regrets, her resilience, and when she emerges, the realm doesn't just let her go, it recognizes her. At the end of the game, we see images of Siska interacting with this mirror world. She doesn't guide Linda, she doesn't try to save her, she simply waits. It is as if she's seen this all before, or maybe even done this all before. Maybe she was once like Linda, a vessel, a bridge, a keeper. Maybe she helped build the mirrors. Maybe she served the Lady in Red, or wanted to replace her. And this takes us to DreadOut 2. The game begins with Linda hiding inside a school locker. Her name is being shouted repeatedly, mixed with laughter echoing through the halls. She finally emerges, she finds disturbing drawings of herself hanging and her classmates' pictures displayed like a memorial. As she roams the deserted school, Linda retrieves her bag and phone in the courtyard. Next to a tree, she finds Buddy, a terrified classmate who confesses he and the others wanted to teach Linda a lesson. They locked her in the school in a locker as a prank, but now something has gone terribly wrong. Linda learns that the key to the gate is with Andre, who is hiding inside a classroom. It seems like the kids in the school tried to play a prank on Linda by trying to curse her, but the curse actually worked and summoned the ghost to the school. Andre feels relieved and he gives Linda the key to the front gate. As Linda prepares to leave, she receives a live stream on her phone from her classmate Henny. Henny is holding an axe and accuses Linda of being a murderer and vows revenge. Linda enters the school to confront her. Henny is possessed by a ghost. Linda banishes it before it can fully consume her. Exhausted, Linda leaves the school, handing off the aftermath to the janitor and heads home. The next day at school, Linda is taunted by bullies who call themselves the Anti-Linda Club. Linda heads into her class and sits down. During class, the lights go out. The classroom transforms. Shadows of her past friends appear, one hanging from the ceiling. Miss Siska's voice echoes as the room morphs into a blood-drenched version of itself. Linda wakes up alone. She meets a ghostly teacher who tries to hypnotize her. Using her phone's flash, she escapes and stuns the teacher. Linda tries to make her way out of the school, when Linda encounters a large white cat wielding a knife. She uses the blade to fight a sickle-wielding ghost and hordes of enemies. After defeating the enemies, she regains consciousness and she is in the middle of class covered in blood. She is sent to the hospital for evaluation. Linda checks into the hospital and waits in the lobby for her appointment. She dozes off while waiting, only to wake up to find the place almost entirely empty. Her number is called, and she makes her way to her doctor's office. Her doctor greets her and asks her to take a seat, and she sits. The ghost of Ira begins to appear behind her, growing closer and closer. When Ira grabs Linda by the head, she doesn't hear Ira's voice, but Miss Siska's. Siska says Linda should blame herself, but there's still something she can do. Her final words to Linda are, "Listen." Linda suddenly finds herself back in the doctor's office, now soaked in blood. The hallways are overrun with roaming ghosts. Linda can't fight. She must stealthily sneak through, avoiding their detection. She finds the elevator that brings her deep into the lower levels, below the hospital basement. There, she stumbles into a surgery room, where a ghostly surgeon is slicing a corpse. To avoid him, Linda hides under a sheet on a gurney. A small ghost enters the room and wheels her away. The ghost discovers Linda, but warns her to stay hidden or her papa will hurt her. The surgeon eventually finds Linda, forcing her to run through the twisted lower hospital levels. Linda finds a pile of corpses and hides among them to survive. After losing the surgeon, Linda finds the girl again, who says she lost her toy. In the operating room, Linda finds a woman hanging on chains. The ghost girl tells her that Papa now serves the serpent mistress, and that girl hanging on chains was her old toy. The surgeon busts into the operating room and attacks again. Linda discovers vials of corrosive liquid throughout the hospital and uses them to repel him. After several hits, the surgeon dies from liquid burns. The little girl watches from a window, expressing uncertainty about what Papa will become after being exposed to the serpent essence, which was in the vials. Linda collects a toxic vial from one of the cabinets and uses it to activate a jammed pendulum, powering a meat conveyor belt. At its end is a slab of flesh with an axe embedded in it. Linda grabs the axe. She fights her way back to the ghost girl and once again faces the surgeon, now mutated. His right arm is a long, flexible spine with a little girl's head attached. It's almost as if the two spirits were mashed together. Linda battles the monstrous surgeon with the axe and defeats him. The ghost girl thanks her, then attacks her, stuffing roots down Linda's throat. Linda wakes up again, this time in the hospital morgue. A frightened mortician faints upon seeing her. Linda leaves the hospital and heads home. That night, Linda dreams of being attacked by a pale-skinned woman with black hair. She wakes up in a dark house, finding her landlady passed out on the kitchen table, and her roommates unconscious on the floor. A strange laughter echoes, and long strands of hair covered the home. Linda exits to encounter a giant ghostly woman with flowing black hair. She fends it off with her camera. The spirit becomes passive and stands silently near a tree. It apologizes, claiming, "She made me do it." This spirit is the Kuntilanak, a vengeful spirit of Indonesian lore. When Linda tries to enter the city, she's blocked off by a reflection of herself in the alleyway. The reflection transforms into a pale woman in a black dress, and she steals Linda's phone. In the city streets, Linda spots a massive beast roaming. She sneaks past it and chases the woman in black into an alley. The woman drops Linda's phone and disappears. Deeper in, Linda is chased by a huge ghostly white tiger. She battles the beast with her camera and banishes it near the marketplace. Exploring the market, Linda finds a possessed guard. To pass, she must find his favorite coffee brand. After locating it, she moves past the market and into the streets. She eventually arrives at a tiger statue surrounded by golden light. The pale woman in black appears again, triggering a boss battle. They fight around the statue before Linda is overwhelmed. Luckily, she is saved by a mysterious fortune teller. The woman tells Linda that a dark force follows her, and suggests that the force has grown stronger because it absorbed a piece of her. She warns Linda that only by confronting the spirit in its own realm can she overcome it. She tells Linda to go to the Indi Moy Hotel. At the hotel, Linda meets a group of loggers, investigating hauntings. As she explores, she enters an elevator, and Miss Siska steps in. Siska mocks Linda, calling her a favorite student. When the elevator opens, Linda finds herself back in the spirit realm. The hotel is now a haunted gauntlet filled with aggressive ghosts. Linda finds an axe and starts slaying the spirits room by room. In her stairwell, the woman in black appears and tries to fight Linda. Armed with her axe and camera, Linda forces the pale spirit to flee. She continues purging the hotel of ghosts, eventually encountering a group of fat baby spirits and their leader. Atop the hotel's rooftop, Linda faces the woman in black one final time. The woman is quick and wields a small blade, but Linda uses her flash to stun her and her axe to do real damage. After a brutal fight, Linda banishes the woman in black, and she drops a chamani chicken egg, used in dark rituals. There's a lot of theories on who this pale woman in black was. Some say she's a ghost, others say she's a vessel, handpicked by the serpent goddess, but there's another possibility, that this woman isn't Linda's enemy at all. She's a warning, a mirror, a version of what Linda might become if she stops resisting and accepts the darkness growing inside her. Back at the fortune teller's home, Linda learns that the egg is linked to Kampung Siente, a village known for black magic. Linda must go there next. Linda arrives at Kampung Siente, a rural village with eerie surroundings and agitated locals. The villagers immediately distrust her and warn her to stay away from the nearby hill, saying outsiders who climb it never return. But Linda learns that a lady on the hill is famous for her chamani chicken eggs, and she is determined to uncover the truth about the chicken egg. As she climbs the twisting path, the hill seems to disorient her. Time loops and path shifts unnaturally. Along the way, she hears whispers, stories about missing campers and ghost sightings. But eventually, she reaches the top of the hill and is greeted by an elderly woman who is shocked by Linda's appearance. The woman recognizes her immediately and introduces herself as Nini Teddy. She says she used to be Linda's nanny when she was very young. Nini invites Linda to rest, claiming she looks exhausted. Linda hands her the Kermani egg. As Linda drifts off to sleep, she dreams of her childhood. In the dream, she plays hide and seek with two boys. One boy hides in a cave. Inside the cave sits a massive ogre-like creature, Buto Ijo. Though frightening, the creature accepts candy from the young lady and lets her clean his cave. Pleased, Buto Ijo promises to protect her from harm. His promise is more than symbolic. Throughout DreadOut 2, Linda survives situations she arguably shouldn't. A spiritual force may still be watching over her. Buto Ijo may be Linda's first true guardian spirit, and this flashback is just to show that Linda has a strong connection with the spirit world even as a child. When Linda returns home, in the dream, she finds her house engulfed in flames and her mother standing in the fire. She wakes abruptly. Back in the present, Linda overhears Nini Teddy snarling. Nini sprinkles back black dust over the egg, and a dark force overtakes Linda, knocking her unconscious. She awakes in the ghost realm again. Nini Teddy's voice echoes as she reveals the truth. Linda's family, the Maylindas, carried powerful spiritual blood. Their lineage attracted enemies, and the fire that killed her family was no accident. It was an attack. Nini now declares that Linda will join them in hell. She transforms into a grotesque spirit. Linda faints and finds herself once more in a blue-lit realm from the earlier games. The Red Lady awaits. The Red Lady speaks cryptically. Find your roots. Accept the part you were born to play. I am you. You are me. She calls Linda the Keeper of the Dark. Linda wakes up to face a new spirit. It is at this point in the game where the events of the first game and the events of the Keepers of the Dark game all come together, and Linda finally accepts the Lady in Red as part of her, and she truly becomes the Keeper of the Dark. The spirit pursues Linda relentlessly through the forest until she defeats it beneath a massive tree. Suddenly, after she defeats it, the white cat appears and collects the plastic's blood and draws a sigil around Linda. Two massive hands rise from the ground and hurl Linda into the next chapter of her nightmare. Linda is hurled into the front of a lavish mansion, its design elegant but dripping with occult symbols. Inside, the upper floors are filled with ritual objects and eerie remnants of ceremonies past. Linda makes her way to a blood-smeared bathroom where she finds a basement key. Descending into the basement, Linda is immediately attacked by vengeful spirits. The bodies of the dead cultists are everywhere in the basement, left like discarded offerings to a god that no longer answers. This is Siska's domain. Here, Siska didn't just summon spirits, she built an altar to them. And Linda is no guest. She's the next sacrifice. But something changes in this place. Linda doesn't just survive, she evolves. Solving a series of puzzles, Linda uncovers sacrificial altars, mysterious inscriptions, and dead cultists. Each riddle takes her deeper into the mansion's underbelly. Eventually, Linda collects 4 mystical eggs and places them on a pedestal. She teleports into a surreal ritual chamber where she finds a sacrificial blade. As she grabs it, the weapon fuses with her arm. Wielding the blade, Linda slaughters spirits as she navigates looping rooms and surreal corridors. Eventually, she reaches a massive chamber lined with the skeleton remains of a giant snake. At the far end awaits a colossal beast, the same towering creature Linda glimpsed in the city streets. With no time to hesitate, Linda attacks. After a brutal and cinematic battle, she defeats the monster and is thrown into a deeper dimension. Linda lands in a cityscape swallowed by the spirit world. Skyscrapers are cracked and overgrown, and streets crawling with monsters. Her blade in hand, Linda carves a bloody path through wave after wave of enemies. Eventually, she finds a towering eyeball-shaped creature with teeth for eyelashes, pulsing with dark energy. The eyeball lashes out with magical attacks and spawns spirits, but Linda doesn't back down. She eventually kills it. From the ceiling, a grotesque sack of flesh drops down and attacks her. Slashing through the sack, Linda reveals a stunning Lamia. Based on all the lore in the game, we can assume that this is the Blorong, the serpent spirit whispered about in the dark corners of Indonesian myth. A bringer of riches and a devourer of souls, those who serve her gain power, but only for a time. She's the one behind Siska's rise, behind the rituals, behind the corruption leaking into the real world. This final boss kind of ties everything together. It ties the ending of DreadOut 1 together. Why Siska wanted to go to that school in the first place, and why we see Siska walking out with the serpent-like baby. This is how Siska got connected to the Blorong in the first place, and now we're seeing the conclusion come to an end as Linda faces off against the Blorong. Linda finally stabs through her chest. The Lamia coils around Linda and wrenches the sword free from her chest and attempts to stab Linda back, but Linda is teleported away at the last moment. She awakens in another ritual chamber, this time standing before Siska. Siska stands in front of the Lamia, Blorong, who rages at her for betraying their bond. Blorong tries to kill Siska, but Siska turns the tables and kills Blorong instead. She stomps on the Lamia's corpse, ranting that humans have always been pawns to the higher powers. She reveals her transformation, from a worshipper to a seeker of forbidden knowledge. Siska believes mankind must ascend and offers Linda the chance to rule a realm of her own. Siska extends her hand. If Linda takes her hand, Linda wakes up in a utopian city. Ira is alive and her classmates are safe. Everything seems perfect until Miss Siska walks into the classroom and smiles. If Linda refuses, Linda stabs Siska straight through the chest. Shocked, Linda walks over to Siska's body and pulls the sacrificial blade from Siska's chest. Siska mutates into a massive spirit monster, and a battle begins. After defeating her, Linda emerges into a ruined city overrun by spirits. Ambulances and military personnel line the streets. The spirit realm has merged with reality. The story ends there, but Linda's fight is far from over. Thanks for watching, everybody. But if you guys enjoyed, do all the like, comment, and subscribe and all that. And check out my personal channel, Toad Knight JRPG.